Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back once again to your boys channel. You already know who it is, back with a brand new video for you. And we got the creation of ISOM Eric July Speaks, the head honcho CEO of Rippaverse Comics. Now, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. I've honestly kind of fall out when it comes to the Rippaverse. I actually sold all my Rippaverse comics. I didn't have a whole lot, but I could just kind of find myself just not as interested as I used to be. And I got like I got basically right now both feet outside of the Rippaverse sandbox. But the new speedster they got, man, has got me a little curious, man. So I might put one foot back in and check it out. But anyway, let's check out this trailer, or whatever you want to call it, Evangelize speaking on the creation of ISOM. Please hit that like and subscribe button for me, please. Let's do it. Boom.
ISOM was the first character that I created in the Rippaverse. I built him out top to bottom in my universe Bible. Considering that this was the first story that I was telling, I wanted to stick to what I know. So I drew inspiration from my family members, namely my late uncle Gary, when it came to how he looked, as well as some of his personality traits and facial expressions. I had a lot invested in it. Because of that, I remember doing the infamous Eric sketch, one of the worst drawings that you'll ever see, me crafting out his suit for my concept artist. And Marcos did such a great job of helping with his initial design. I wanted to go with something that was familiar. You know, I'm a long-time comic book fan. I know that there were going to be a lot of people that were also long-time comic book fans that were going to get into ISOM. And I wanted to give them a character that they could see and they could really feel like a throwback. On the other hand, I also wanted to make him unique enough to appeal to obviously new comic book fans, so they'd see that character and only associate that with ISOM. And I've had the luxury over the last few years to create so many of these different characters, but ISOM was special, and not just that he was our first one with the first book, but we knew we had a lot riding on it. So I wanted to do it right. And I'm glad that still to this day, he really is our flagship hero.
Interesting, man. Very, 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 very interesting, man. The reason for me why I jumped into the Rippaverse comic books was, quite honestly, I just happened to see it on Twitter. I just happened to jump on Twitter, and I just happened to see something about the Rippaverse comic books. And I was like, oh, wow, what is this? Okay, so then I started watching trailers. I started watching, all the clips that were coming out, and I was hooked immediately because I grew up watching a lot of the Batman cartoons, a lot of the Superman cartoons, Spider-Man, all those different things, right? But when it came to the comic books, I didn't really know anything about them. I didn't even know even comic books, I think, even existed back then, because I was always watching the cartoons, so I never thought about, comic books until I got older. And then I was like, okay, cool. But then it was like, there's so many comic books, it's hard to try and fit in, or where do you start? Because I want to start from where the beginning of the story started and then keep on reading. So I know a lot of them have been rebooted and redone on time and time again. But with the Rippaverse, it was fresh, it was brand new, so it was easy to jump straight in from the get-go. And I was hooked. And I actually got to give a big shout out to Eric July. I don't know if you're ever going to see this, Mr. July, but as much shit as you get, I'm giving you flowers, man. Congratulations on making this product. And the reason I'm giving you flowers is mainly because your Rippaverse Comics gave my channel a big boost. I think at the time that I was doing YouTube, I only had maybe 2 or maybe 300 YouTube subscribers. So from the time I started covering the Rippaverse, all the way, I think, to like right when he announced it, and not right when he announced it, but probably the year I believe it came out, maybe early May, something like that, all the way until the end of the year. I was at 200 subs. My channel blew up to damn near 1,000. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of that was from me covering the Rippaverse, whether it was shorts, long form videos. That gave my channel a huge boost. So big shout out to Eric's Live for the Rippaverse. Like I said, currently I have 2 feet out, but the Speedster got me curious, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. I was never a big fan of the Speedsters when I used to watch the cartoons as a kid, like Wally West and the Justice League. Um, I don't know why. I was always a big Batman Superman fan because those were always the two big superheroes you saw on TV. They had their own TV show, right? But when I saw Grant Gustin, my Flash, on TV after I watched the first season, binge watched it on Netflix, I was into like the speedster universe. I was like, oh snap, okay, I'm into it now. You know what I'm saying? I want to know more about the speedsters, and I got hooked watching The Flash, and I was like, okay, cool. So not the Flash in this universe, obviously, but the speedster, I believe, Blue Shift. He needs a better name, Eric. I'm curious about this character, and I want to know more about him. Obviously, he has both his parents. A lot of characters you see usually have one, so it's interesting to see. And I believe they know he has powers, so that's another interesting thing about it. And it looks like he's trying to live a normal life in high school or middle school, maybe. But obviously, him having powers makes things difficult. But hey, Eric, man, you got my attention with the speedster, man. So I'm gonna definitely check this out. I believe it's in one of your Rippaverse comics. I'm gonna have to do my research. But I might be jumping back to the sandbox sooner than you think. So anyway, post your comments down below. Let me know what you think of my reaction. I appreciate every single one of y'all for watching, and I'm out. Peace.